Previously on No Reserves Radio.
Oh my God, Angelo! Come on, have some self-respect. The Eagles can't hurt you if you don't constantly pander to them.
Here's the biggest indictment of Dame that I can say. Dame has been so off this year that Ren went on live air and said Jalen Brunson deserved an all-star start over him.
You are now Angelo Didululo.
Do you think it is possible that the management of the Memphis Grizzlies are just buying into the reckless youth movement and they got rid of the one person in the locker room that probably was telling Ja to knock it off?
Because he's taken advantage of me multiple times when I was younger. That sounded bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're correct in that assessment.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of No Reserves Radio. The Super Bowl is concluded, and it was a great game, man. How's it going, Alex?
How's it going, Angelo? How's it going, guys? And yeah, heck of a game. Second ever overtime game in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Just when I needed to wake up 7 a.m. the day after. So I was up until 4:15 to watch the full game, and I was up at 7.
Hey, you have more drive than me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was
4
one
a.m.,
heck of a
dude.
day. 4:15 actually, because I watched like the celebrations and all of that.
That's crazy. So if your time and my time were the same, I would have been at work already.
Oh, Jesus. So you would be
Yeah.
watching. At least you could have watched the Super Bowl, I guess, or at least listened to it.
Kind of. I mean, I wake up at 3:15 a.m. So I don't know.
Jesus.
But it was a great game.
But you watched a big chunk of it, didn't you?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And then you watched the rest afterwards, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Except
Perfect.
I didn't watch the award celebration or the ceremony. I think did Travis Kelce win the Super Bowl MVP?
No, it was Mahomes.
It was Mahomes. Okay, so I didn't
As
miss
per
that part.
usual. Yeah.
As per usual. Okay.
You
So,
know,
what do you want to get started with this game? Go on.
just a small regarding the betting and all of that. I just wanted to say that I placed a few bets during the Super Bowl.
You did?
Yeah, a few straight bets, just props. I usually don't like sides, but mostly props and all that. Then I did a few specials. And all my prop bets, basically, I believe all of them? Yeah, I believe all of them went kaboot. So I won none of them. But you know what? What I did win? At a plus 700 odd, or a plus 500. Plus 500, yeah. Because you guys, it's like one digit less. That doesn't matter. At plus 500, I've got a bet that was MVP of the Super Bowl to say we're going to Disneyland. And I got that right. And at plus 150, I got a commentator team to mention the 28-3 blowout loss. Comeback win by the Patriots a few years back.
Patriots on the Falcons, yeah.
And that was only mentioned because the game went to overtime.
Bet on. You know the crazy thing that I saw being bet on?
What?
And I actually don't remember now that I think about this. The color of the Gatorade of the Super Bowl winning team.
Oh, I bet on that as well.
Oh, you bet on what? Okay, what was it, and what was the most common bet? Because I think the most common bet was purple, wasn't it?
No, I believe it was purple, and I bet on blue, if I'm not mistaken. So when I saw it at first, I thought it was blue, and I was pretty hyped up because I believe that was a plus 250 or something.
And so purple was the color of the Gatorade poured on Coach Reed?
Yeah, and that was like plus 100 or something. It was like the one with the worst odds, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I went with blue, and that was like plus 250. And the other one, the commentator one, was plus 150. And that only happened because it was the second game ever to go to overtime. And the first one was the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl. So that's why it got mentioned. Didn't get mentioned because like I was expecting like a blown lead and the commentators to mention that, but no, it was mentioned because of the overtime. So I got those two wins,
These are,
and due
I
to
gotta
the
say it,
odds
these are
and all of
stupid
that,
fucking parlays.
it was not
What are we
parlays. It
talking?
was
We're
straight
talking about
bets.
a Super Bowl happened that went to overtime and was 22-25, and we're talking about the color of the fucking Gatorade and the Atlanta Falcons versus the New England Patriots that happened like 7 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I just wanted to give this little bit of an intro, and now we can actually go into the what happened in the Super Bowl and all of that.
This guy.
So you had a few topics here that
Yes, I did.
you wanted to talk about. I agreed with most of them. I introduced one or two as well.
Which
So
one did
let's
you want
get
to
it.
start with?
I guess we can start by the list you sent and just go like from the top.
I do
So
not have
Patrick
my phone near
Mahomes.
me. So go ahead.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes final boss status. And
Yes.
at this point, it is like for those of you who follow WWE, when Mahomes is down and when he needs a play, especially late in the quarters, it feels like the Roman Reigns music hitting. It's like
Dude, that's
it's the
such.
final boss.
He has such great music too, by the way, when you hear it.
Yeah. It's the final boss song. It's like it's the best one. It's like when you hear that, you know it's just like it's the final challenge. And when Mahomes has the ball, like with under 2 minutes left in the quarter, basically when the 40 cough. My bad. When the
You're-
49ers got the field goal in the in regular time, um I was like, okay, yeah, Mahomes got this. It's like they left 1 minute and
no,
56, and I had
no,
absolutely
no.
zero doubt that he would get points.
No. See that was obvious. You know, to me, like I was talking in like two or three different group chats. I don't know if I sent this to you, but there was a point where I said the Kansas City offense looks like absolute dog shit right now, and San Francisco didn't score enough points to knock them out already, so this game's about to go to them.
Yeah, I believe we talked about because I was saying as well, like when we were talking, it's like, yeah, San Fran can move the ball. San Fran is not getting points though, so although it seems like they're dominating KC, it's like you don't beat Patrick Mahomes with field goals. That's
Nope.
not and I mean, if you're not aggressive enough, this is what happens. You dominated the game. I 100% believe that it's like if we don't look at scores and it's just like what the two teams put on the field, the Niners played much better football on offense. And
Yeah,
on defense, I guess the Niners, the Chiefs had the slightly better unit on defense.
I think
But
so
like
too. Yeah,
as a team in a whole, the Niners had a much better Super Bowl,
I
but they
agree.
don't have
Because
15.
here's something that I don't think I don't know. I haven't watched people talk about the Super Bowl, but here's something I don't think is going to get talked about a lot is the Kansas City Chiefs at the start of the game, the very first quarter. We're going to say they looked like shit. But
They
the
look,
reality is at the start of the game, they did a lot of the things that won them the last Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers, and the 49ers shut that out early. Like the bubble screens, the short shit. Like Kyle Shanahan had a plan for everything Kansas City did in the first half, minus that last drive.
yeah,
Literally.
basically it was it, yeah. And even in the third quarter, like a big chunk of it, it was just like three and outs, and it was by both teams to be honest. So
Yeah.
the defense just stepped up on both sides. But it's like when the fourth quarter hit, then it was okay, we're going, and it looked like uh, for the props that you're giving Shanahan and the defensive staff for the first half and a good chunk of the third, you have to take some of it away in the last part of the fourth quarter because you just don't play deep zones versus Mahomes. You just don't play zone versus Mahomes most of the time because he will just dice you up. There's
Well,
way too many open spaces. Kelsey is the goat in that term of like managing to find open slots in those zones and those zone matchup. You just don't run it that way, and it felt like they went prevent a lot,
They did. They
and you
did go
just
prevent a
knew,
lot.
yeah,
They were
and he
playing not
just
to
knew that.
lose in that last quarter. It felt like.
Yeah, it is, and you just can't do that versus the final boss. You have to play to win
But
versus Mahomes.
here's kind of the interesting thing about talking about the San Francisco loss is because it's kind of a double-edged sword. We're gonna over the course of this episode, we're gonna criticize them for not running the ball more and playing a more like clock chewing game script, but we're also gonna criticize them for not being more aggressive on defense. It's kind of like, okay, what did you want them to do? Like, and that's kind of like the scenario the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes put you in. I think it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree in the terms of like I'm criticizing them for playing zone, but when they blitzed, I mean Mahomes just diced them up as well.
He
So
did.
it is the final boss, right? Isn't it? It's like he's overpowered
Oh
when
no,
it comes
100%.
when it comes to that last part, and sometimes it's just like what's that
And
game that people get really mad about? I don't play it, but a friend of mine does, and a few friends of mine, and it's on PS4 and Xbox. It's the one which you're basically dying all the time. Um,
you're basically dying all the time.
all the time, yeah. Uh
Five Nights at Freddy's? I don't know.
no, 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 no. I'm not sure if it's is it Dead Souls?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Soul
So
like game, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, okay. See, I know some gaming. There you
Souls,
go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Souls. Okay, go on.
So yeah, it's just like that. Like the bosses are just way too overpowered, and he's just way too overpowered when it gets those situations. And you just know, like when you have 15, you sort of have it all, and you have it ready. And there's plenty that we could talk about if like they lost that Super Bowl, but they won it because they have
Yeah.
15. At the end of the day, it was
Here's
who had the best QB and the best coach.
here's something crazy, and I said I was talking to this leading up to this Super Bowl. How long has Patrick Mahomes been in the NFL?
5 years, isn't it? Was it or is it
I,
6?
I I can actually look that up on my computer here real quick.
Yeah, I can as well. Yeah. So he was drafted in 2017.
And he debuted in 2018. 2018,
Uh,
2019,
he-
2020, 2021. So 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
He's been playing for 6 years. So in that 6 year span that he has been the starter of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs has lost to Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. And that's it. That's the
That's it.
list. That's crazy. That's
It's
fucking
wild,
crazy.
isn't it? And I know we like a few shows ago we were like, um, he has an argument for being the best play ever. He doesn't have the argument for the GOAT. All of that discussion. But it's like it's been 6 years, and this is
I think it
some of his accomplishments so far. He has won 3 Super Bowls. He is 3 time Super Bowl MVP. He's a 2 time NFL MVP. He's a 3 time All Pro. He's a 6 time Pro Bowler. He led the league in passing TDs 2 times, and he has the NFL record for total passing yards in a season.
correct me if I'm wrong. He has made at least the AFC Championship game in all but one of his seasons, correct?
I believe so. I believe it was the one in which he lost to Burrow.
No, Burrow and Mahomes met in the championship game.
Oh, in
I
the
was thinking maybe
championship
the
game.
one to Brady.
Oh yeah, it was the yeah. I was thinking different thing. Yeah, yeah, it was the one in which you lost to Brady in 2018, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
like one of his last years in New England.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
right.
so this guy has basically like been an automatic. So if you, when you're making a bracket, when you're making a bracket, when the playoffs are starting and you don't have Kansas City in that championship game any of the last 6 years, you're fucking nuts. Alex.
You're you're at a
So Alex,
disadvantage already. So yeah,
Yeah. So Alex,
yeah.
what was your AFC Championship game again? I just want some clarification.
I don't think I have it here, so I don't know.
Oh,
No
oh,
clue.
I do. I
Oh,
do.
great.
It was Baltimore and Buffalo, bitch.
Oh, it was. Okay. Okay, I didn't have it here. Yeah, I sort of knew it, guys.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah, lesson learned for next year. It is what it is.
Lesson learned.
No more
The
doubting.
only way, the only way I think I would not put them in the AFC Championship game. And then this is crazy. And this is why we talk about like Joe Burrow just missed a whole season and I have no like qualms about putting him as the second best quarterback in the NFL. The only like debate is if like the Bengals play bad or maybe Burrow doesn't start off great and Patrick Mahomes has to face them in the first round. I think I would be okay with that. Not predicting Kansas City into the AFC Championship game. But other than facing the Bengals before the AFC Championship game, I don't see the scenario. I don't.
I sort of have to agree with you. I am done doubting the dude. It is what it is at this point.
He's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So
He's the final boss.
he's like, it kind of feels like he's in the GOAT conversation. We're just waiting for him to collect the accolades to
Oh yeah.
make it a bit more justifiable
Yeah, because
at this point.
like if we're being frank, the only
And if we're
reason
being frank, 3 Super Bowls is kind of there.
yeah, it is. It is. I mean, like he's one away from Montana, was considered the GOAT for a while now, and he has the
Yeah.
same amount of Super Bowl MVPs. So
Yep.
while we shouldn't really put him there because it's not the norm and it's not consensus, and the other guy has more Super Bowls and all of that, you just know it's a matter of time with Mahomes because when you're watching him play, and for a while when it was Brady and Rodgers, it was like, yeah, Brady's the GOAT, but Rodgers is probably one of, if not the best quarterback you've ever seen
No,
actually
it was
play.
always it's always like Rodgers had
The
like a
talent.
prettier throw,
Yeah,
but Brady had the accolades
yeah.
and the postseason performance.
And like you're watching Mahomes, and it's probably the best QB you've ever seen play. So he just doesn't have the accolades yet, but he's just getting there. So it's a matter of time. Like give it one or more two Super Bowls, and you can like just say he's GOAT and you won't have any pushback because we're looking at a guy who has all the accolades that we talked about so far, and he is currently 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he has
So
the same amount of Super Bowls as Mahomes as Brady had with his age right now.
so here's kind of where I think if Patrick Mahomes doesn't win another Super Bowl, I think after so long we are going to talk about him as better than Brady for a few reasons. One, and this is I don't know how the rest of his career is going to go, so this is assuming like he stays fairly consistent. But one, people don't talk about Deflategate and all the negative aspects of New England Brady enough. And I think that after like the roses are done and Mahomes is said and done and he doesn't have a controversy, and that's a big assumption. I think like that's gonna put him over the edge with younger people.
Yeah, that is true. That's what like you also have the
And I'm not
factor
saying
of
Mahomes
like
isn't gonna win another one. I'm just saying if he didn't and he had a solid career, I think at
yeah.
the end of the day they'd still put him over Brady because of all the controversy with Brady in New England.
And you also have the factor of like more and more people are watching the NFL every single year now. Like this
Mhm.
was the most watched Super Bowl ever, and part of it was a personality that we're going to talk about because you have some thoughts on that.
Yep.
But a big part of it is just like the audience is gearing more towards the NFL. There's a younger audience. There's players like with the dances that are being like connected to games like Fortnite and all of that. So there's a younger audience. There's more people watching. So at the end of the day, it's like it will be a point of time in which you're like, okay, you're watching Mahomes, he's being great, he is greatness personified, and you didn't watch Brady. Like a few guys probably won't have watched Brady in a few years. So it's like this is the best you've ever seen, and you usually have a tendency bias. Even us that watched Brady play for quite a while, we are entertaining that Mahomes can be the GOAT. So we have a recency bias as well, and we watch the dude who's considered the GOAT. Now imagine what will happen to younger audiences who have a stronger social media presence than the older folks and who haven't really been watching Brady and probably don't have much interest to watch back. Of course you have some, but it's like not it's not that you're watching him like weekly for seasons and seasons on end and just routinely going to Super Bowls and to AFC championships. So in a few years, I think it will be a consensus that Mahomes is the GOAT, even if he doesn't win another championship, even if he just stays in the path of consistently going to AFC championships. Maybe there's something wrong with the team and they don't get over the hump, which I doubt, to be honest, because like there's very few pieces that this team
I,
is about to lose that are super meaningful, and those can be worked
no,
around. I'm talking about Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. Those are the two main ones, and they can
quite
improve via the draft.
That's true, and quite honestly, I think the biggest concern I have with the Chiefs isn't really like the state of the roster. It's more so Kansas City needs a reliable target. Right now, that is Travis Kelce, bar none. Travis Kelce is starting to regress. So once he gets to a point where you can't consistently rely on him to get like 100 yards every game, where do you go from there? You need someone to kind of take that Travis Kelce mantle. That's the thing I'm more concerned about.
But you have 2 or 3 years to figure it out still.
That's true.
And we talk about this, and it's like after losing Tyreek Hill, he they won back-to-back Super Bowls. So it's
Yep.
like
Well,
it is what it is, man.
they've made it to the AFC Championship game every year. They didn't have Tyreek Hill because if I'm not mistaken, the first year after is the year the Bengals. Or no, did the Bengals beat them with
No, no,
Tyreek
no,
on the
no.
roster?
Yeah. The first year
Oh,
without Tyreek was last year, so they are 2 for 2 in Super Bowls after Tyreek Hill left.
Jesus.
Yeah. You're just sort of just like, it's too much sometimes because they have the best coach. And they have, and maybe we can start at some point in time talking about the GOAT coach as well.
Hmm.
I know that's an argument that probably isn't very popular right now, but Big
No,
Red deserves a nod.
he does. He deserves a
And
consideration for sure.
so you have the best current NFL head coach, and you have the best player in the NFL. So, and you have one of the most underrated, and this is a topic that I didn't introduce, but I guess we can talk about it later. And you have probably one of the most underrated players ever that has like a very strong case for being the best defensive player in the NFL for a few years now, and
Chris
he
Jones.
gets, yeah, and he gets undervalued a lot.
Interesting discussion.
Yeah, he was just unlucky to play in an era with Aaron Donald, and even with Aaron Donald, I mean, he has been doing great things. Like maybe it's not Aaron Donald level or gets the same attention as Aaron Donald, because I
Right.
also think he gets undervalued because of the team that he plays for and having Mahomes in the team. So most of the credit goes to Mahomes, but like even in this Super
Sure.
Bowl, like a big chunk of it should go to the defense and a big play down the line. And why
Next man
the
stop.
Chiefs, yeah, and it's like the last one, it's the big play that should get a lot of credit because it was the pressure of Chris Jones in one of the final two downs before the Niners kicked the field goal in the 2 minute warning. It was the pressure from Chris Jones that prevented the touchdown throw from Purdy to Jawan Jennings, if I'm not mistaken, who was pretty wide open for the touchdown in the end
Well,
zone.
it's not.
So if
It's
that,
not only that. So over while I was watching the game, you actually reminded me of something I definitely noticed while I was watching the game. While I was watching the game, it felt like every throw Purdy was trying to make was either like off balance or he had pressure in his face or it was a weird angle. Like, I don't know very many clean throws I saw Brock Purdy throw the whole game.
Yeah, there wasn't many, and that's been a talking point that I've heard after the Super Bowl, is that the Niners should really look into investing on the O-line because he got pressured quite a bit. The O-line wasn't as stout as it once was.
It wasn't up to the task.
Yeah,
They lost in the trenches, whatever cliche you want to use, but it definitely happened.
it did for sure.
And by the way, shout out to Brock Purdy, by the way, because he did get pressured like basically every play, or at least while I was watching the game, it felt like that. And he did make a lot of really, really good throws, and he stayed poised throughout the game.
Yeah. And I'm gonna jump one of the topics that you had here because I think this
That's fine.
connects better right now, and we'll talk about the other one later.
Sure, no problem.
And part of the reason as to why Purdy was pressured so much, and I think this is a downfall of Shanahan, is that when you're coaching in the regular season, and for the most part in the playoffs, it's good to have a very complex scheme with plenty of motions, plenty of just people running around every single place. You can't even really describe that scheme. It's just like pre-snap, everyone is like running around, making laps, taking laps, just going from one side of the field to the other one. Just crazy motions. It's one thing when like the offense is flowing and you can do that. But isn't it a downfall and part of the reason why Shanahan is currently now 0-2 in the Super Bowl as a head coach and 0-0, 0-1 as a coordinator, so 0-3 in general in the Super Bowl? Is it part of the reason? Yeah, it's part of the reason just that the scheme is too complex and when things get hard and rough, and just as you mentioned, like Purdy being pressured a lot, shouldn't things get simplified when the going gets rough? Because I think the old motion and crazy things that happen implies that the QB has time to make the reads and to see which guy got open. Sometimes just like quick slants, quick dump offs, all of that would work much better in situations in which your QB is getting pressured a lot than just like the beauty and the complexity of the scheme that he usually runs. And it seems to me like he struggles to adapt and he goes away from the fundamentals to keep his like beautiful scheme running. What do you think?
Yeah, I generally agree with that. That's so. I think it was Ray Lewis was talking in an interview, and he was talking about going against Peyton Manning. And he said when Peyton Manning like said Omaha to make an adjustment, and it was like early in the clock, the snap clock, it's complete bullshit. Like it means nothing. But when
Hmm.
Peyton Manning said Omaha, like within 14 seconds of the clock running out, that meant it was some kind of adjustment. And the reason he did that was because after 14, the defense didn't have time to adjust. Sometimes you just need to do simple things. And even if they're late, last minute simple adjustments, the defense won't be able to get accustomed to it. And I think Kyle Shanahan kind of loses the plot for, okay, I need to have this much time to get this person in motion, this person set up like this. And granted, it did have some amazing results, like the fucking screen throw to Christian McCaffrey was amazing for the first touchdown, but at the same time, when the going gets tough and when the games get gritty, you gotta know, okay, they're in this. This a simple slant route here is going to beat that, or they're in a zone. If we do high low concept, the middle defender is going to have to make a decision, and then you just throw to whoever he doesn't decide to. Stuff like that.
Yeah. And sometimes just like the easy runs that he usually like we applaud him for his running scheme and how effective it is.
100%. Well, he
And
also has Christian McCaffrey right now, but yes.
yes, but in these situations, he just fails to use like his best trait. Like his best trait is being able to design a great run game that can be super effective and that can just basically get you those first downs that you need and get those chunk plays. Because like early in the game, they were running for 5, 6, 7 yards a pop.
Christian
And
McCaffrey was good.
late, yeah, and late in the game, they got completely away from it. And it's the same story from his first Super Bowl while he was the OC for the Falcons. He was up the infamous 21 and 28 and 3, and they just completely got away from the run.
He
It
was
was
the
like,
OC for the Falcons on the
yeah,
28
it
tree
was,
collapse.
it was the OC, and like they were up 28-3, and he just completely got up because he was calling the plays, but at the end of the day it's his fault. He just
No.
completely got away from the run.
Is okay, so is it his fault or is it that so I guess I don't have a well enough understanding because so when you go into a football game, you have a game plan. It's called the
Yes,
script. The script
yes,
is what, the first I'd say about quarter of play, maybe quarter and a half of play.
basically, yeah.
So maybe the run plays are part of the script, but they're not in the expanded game plan that are on Brock Purdy's wrist, the predetermined plays. Maybe those are more pass plays. Now, granted, I'm not there. I don't know 100% that's the case, but do you think that could be something where he scripts the run plays and that's why they look so good, but he doesn't like have those same run plays into the basic plan and they're more basic like HB dive or a counter or a stretch, stuff like that.
But even that, like even if you run those types of runs that usually aren't like super effective, that's still better to milk the clock when you're up by 10 in the third quarter than just like consistently being three and out. That doesn't burn any amount of time. And that's what he failed to do while he was with the Falcons versus the Patriots. What he failed to do versus the Chiefs the first time around, and what he failed to do this past Sunday versus the Chiefs again. It's just like he's up. He has been up double digits. He was up 28-3 versus the Patriots in the third quarter. He was up, if I'm not mistaken, it was 20 and 10 going into the fourth quarter versus the Chiefs the first time around. And this time he was up 10 and 3 if I'm not mistaken going into the third quarter.
So I
So it's
mean,
like time and time and time again, he has those leads and he just cannot keep them because I feel like he gets stuck into his ways and he doesn't go back to the fundamentals, which is I'm up, I'm gonna run the ball, I'm gonna milk the clock. Yeah, it might not be super effective, but what we are trotting out there, the plays that we're calling, are also not being effective and are not killing any time of the clock. So I'm gonna go with option B, which is maybe I'm not effective, maybe I am, but I'm gonna kill the clock and I'm gonna take 40 seconds chunks out of it every time that I run a play. Because the alternative is I go out there, I run 3 plays, I run 10 seconds, Casey has the ball, and I'm giving it to the best player in the world to make whatever he wants out of it. It just feels like option B is much better to go with, and you just burn 40 seconds a time, and it's like 1 minute and change out of every single drive, maybe more if you get the first downs. So yeah, I feel like that was a big issue in all three Super Bowls. And this one, even in this one, I would say it was an issue. I understand why it didn't because defense was really being super stout. But I still think when you have a coach like Spags who runs the heck out of the blitz, especially on third down, all the motion, all the shenanigans, all the pop-up plays, all the prompts, all of that, it just needs to be thrown out the window. It's like you see a blitz, you call a slant. It's just like quick 1-2, drop the ball. You don't have your QB holding it for longer than necessary, and I don't think he adjusted well enough in the second half.
I think that's a pretty good point. So Kyle
That
Shanahan also has a good argument with Patrick Mahomes as he's only lost to Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady in the
probably,
Super Bowl.
yeah. Is he just, and I mentioned this to you in our chat, but is he just like the old Andy Reid back with the Philadelphia Eagles and a part of the time with the Chiefs? where it's like he's a great coach. Everyone touts him as a great coach. He just never gets over the hump until he gets his version of a Patrick Mahomes.
Let's be fair. Over the hump, Andy Reid was to what, one Super Bowl before with the Eagles before he got Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, that is correct.
Kyle Shanahan's already been to two Super Bowls, three if you want to count the OC as the Atlanta Falcons. So I mean, that's kind of unfair comparison because Kyle Shanahan has gotten over the hump as far as getting over the NFC multiple times already. He just hasn't won the big one.
Yeah, but like Andy Reid from like in 20 years basically. He went to the championship game or Super Bowl for nearly half of those years. So I'm just saying like in the sense maybe they didn't go to the Super Bowl and didn't win it. But the hump is still like getting the big one and getting like through the championships and all that. So I think in a sense it's like it's a coach that seems to be always there and it seems to be touted as great coach, which Andy Reid was, no matter the fact that he didn't win the Super Bowl in the one occasion that he went to. But he just never gets that. So maybe I'm just extrapolating too much, but it feels like there's a connection here. It feels although Shanahan went to more Super Bowls, Andy Reid also had major success while in Philadelphia, and for a good chunk of it, while with the Chiefs as well. Apart from like 1 year in which he was under 10 wins, every other year he was 10 or more wins, and like what is from 2013 to 2023, so roughly 10 years he had one season with under 10 wins. So it's just like consistent success, but never gets the big one. And Shanahan has consistent success, but never wins the big one. Just does he get his Mahomes?
I'm gonna say probably not. Quite honestly,
Yeah.
I think. So here's the thing. What do you think is the tier of quarterback that you would say gets him over the hump? So like if Kirk Cousins signed with the San Francisco 49ers, is that over the hump?
No, I think it's roughly the same.
No? No?
No,
Okay, so no, it's not over the hump. Okay, so I'm just gonna start listing quarterbacks. Tell me if you think these players would get them over the hump. Can we ignore the Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen tier?
yeah,
Okay. Would Justin Herbert get them over the hump?
probably.
You think Justin Herbert gets them over the hump? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
It's a
Lamar.
probably though. Lamar, I think
Lamar.
does.
Lamar absolutely does.
Yes,
Okay. Matthew Stafford.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And Kirk Cousins doesn't.
No, Stafford is so underrated, man.
Okay. Well, okay. Derek Carr.
No, dude, hell no, man. What are we doing?
I'm just creating a baseline here. Baker Mayfield.
No,
Deshaun Watson.
hell no.
Hell no. So what you're saying is, unless they're an arguable top five quarterback or Matthew Stafford,
Yes.
that's not over the hump. Do you know how hard it is to find one of those guys?
Yeah. And it's incredibly hard, and that's like why sometimes great coaches just don't get the big one. Because you can have it all, but at the end of the day, if you're facing a great one, you need to have a great one back. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose in the end. And it is what it is, man. Like Andy Reid was a great coach when he went to the Super Bowl back in 2004 versus the Patriots with that Eagles team. But he was facing one of the greats, just as talented of an edge coach on the other side, but he had one of the great QBs. So sometimes it's like you can be the best coach and you can have the best team, But if on the other side you have an also great coach and you have a team that is maybe not as good, but good, but they have 15, man, or they have 12, it's just game over. So that leads me to question you: will Shanahan ever win a big one? Because by
I think
my
so.
answer, yeah, by my answer, it seems like he probably won't. Because I
I
don't
think so.
think I think Purdy is very good. I don't think you win a Super Bowl with Purdy.
So, ooh, that's a bold statement.
Yeah.
So let me ask this then. Are the San Francisco 49ers this era's Jim Kelly Buffalo Bills? Because if I'm not
May
mistaken, they made it to the last three and lost to the same team, correct?
yes. If they go to the Super Bowl this year again and they lose versus the Chiefs, I mean, they might as well be renamed the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's very close. But at the end of the day, this one was one, at least that I remember. I've been watching the last, I don't know, seven Super Bowls, eight Super Bowls. This one was the best refereed. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree with that. I think
Yeah.
for the most part, the referees kept the whistle in their pocket, and unless you saw a play and you were like, oh yeah, that's whatever the call would be. That okay, yeah, that's pass interference. They'd call that. But if it wasn't that, they weren't calling it.
Yeah, I also thought as well. I didn't really see any egregious play not called that should have been a penalty. So for the most part, I think it was pretty good. I think it was the best officiated game that I've ever seen in the Super Bowl. So the
That's
refs just
kind,
weren't. There were
and that's
plays
kind
in
of
there. Go
good.
ahead, sorry.
No, no, no. Well, I was gonna say that's kind of what makes like umpiring or refereeing in sports just so meticulous because at the end of the day, like when you have a big game like the Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals, etc., you want to see the result of the players playing on the field. You don't want to see foul calls dictating result. You don't want to. It kind of makes you feel cheated, and this game didn't feel like it was cheated. It felt like San Francisco earned the collapse, Kansas City earned the win.
Yeah, I agree. I think there were plays in there that if it was a regular season, I'm pretty sure they call some of those PIs.
Oh,
But
100%.
yeah, but for a Super Bowl game, I thought it was a very clean game. I don't think there were egregious calls on either side that one side can say, yeah, but you had that call, or yeah, but you had that call. No, I don't really think so. I think if there were penalties that weren't called, it was for both sides, and they were like pretty even. It was just soft penalties. So yeah, it was the best game. Like in general, I think it was one of the best Super Bowls that I've watched recently.
Yes, it was very enjoyable. And this is coming from the guy who I believe what was it, the AFC Championship game prediction or the divisional game prediction where you said, "Oh man, I don't want to see another 49ers Chiefs." Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You always do.
At the end of the day, one always does, right? It is what it is. We're a sucker for Mahomes. And apparently we are suckers for love stories. Now, what do you have to say about Taylor Swift?
Okay. So here is my hot take, not hot take. Um, we get too obsessed with how much Taylor Swift is actually on our screens because like I was in a chat and he was like they just showed this bitch Taylor Swift for the whole pregame. It didn't look like that to me. And quite honestly, during the game I can remember like two times they panned to Taylor and most of it was at the end. Meanwhile, we have Tom fucking Brady in like 3 straight commercials during the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is like poured down our throats. No, I don't hear it chirp. And you could argue, oh, well, Tom played the game. Yeah, that's great. But Tom's getting forced down your throat during this game way more than Taylor Swift is, buddy. I hate to break it to you. I
So
don't think Taylor Swift, like being shown supporting Travis Kelce, is a bad thing. I don't think Taylor Swift is bad for football. I think it puts more eyes on it. And I think you have more egregious example of people being thrown down our throats. Like I don't get it. I don't get the hate. Taylor
yeah,
can do
so
Taylor.
so we had someone in the Discord channel for our ghost from our guest from the last episode, iForensic. There was someone in
Mhm.
there that was basically tracking how many times Taylor Swift appeared.
It's like a
And you
minute and a
just
half at that, dude.
uh I think you're a bit wrong. He
Really?
counted 17 appearances by Taylor Swift.
But it's not that. See, here's the thing. You can count the appearances. It's not that long. They show her for like 5 seconds in each of those clips.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't really understand why people have an issue with it because I genuinely think that she only appears because the cameras go to her. I don't really think like she needs this. Like she is she the biggest star in the world right now?
Yeah. If not,
Yeah.
she's one of them.
Yeah, I would say that she is. So I don't really think she needs the eyes of the NFL on her. I just think she's someone who has a boyfriend that plays the sport and she goes there and
But here's
watches the game. And the NFL
that's what
sees like a product in it and
exactly.
goes to her.
Exactly.
So like people getting annoyed at being shown Taylor
It's
Swift and being like, why is she always here? Why is she always being popped up? Why is she always on my screen?
it's
Yeah,
not
dude, because
Taylor
the
that's
NFL wants it.
exactly. Taylor's not the problem. Taylor is coming to an NFL game. She's one of the biggest stars in the industry, and she has a fucking press box because she's dating one of the players in the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL and the people part of the presentation are the ones who make the conscious decision to have a camera pointed at that press box and showing it during every Chiefs touchdown or whatever you perceive as every Chiefs touchdown.
I mean, after the Super Bowl, we saw more of Travis and like Taylor, just hugging, kissing, and all of that. Then we saw of Mahomes with with his wife,
Like, yeah.
Brittany. So yeah, it's just if you want to be mad at someone, be mad at Roger Goodell. Don't be mad at Taylor Swift for
Yeah.
crying out loud, man.
For attending a fucking football game.
Yeah, like she needs this attention, man. Like, fuck you guys. She doesn't need any of this. She's just there watching her boyfriend play, and if they ever break up, which at this point I'm rooting that they don't, just for people to get still pissed off about this. If they ever break up, she just won't show anymore. It's like it's whatever. Oh, she's done with it. And she does seem like someone who genuinely likes football, to be honest. It seems like she doesn't watch a whole lot of it, but she gets excited for it, and she's just in the mood. She's just like any other people that hasn't watched the game a whole lot, but has some interest in it and knows when to get hyped about it and knows when to be concentrated. And there were moments of tension for the Chiefs in there in which the camera panned and she was just basically standing still looking at it like a longtime fan. It's just
Yep.
people just get annoyed for being annoyed. It's like some people just can't be happy and need to be annoyed about something. And this year it was Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it'll probably be like that next year too.
Yeah,
Yay, another
most
year.
likely. Yeah, the NFL thanks them, to be honest, because all of this chat just blows it up. They love it. They love the attention.
Let's
So if
spin
you
a
want to get mad at
what's
someone,
the headlines going into next year? Bengals player Jamar Chase criticizes Taylor Swift. Bengals beat Chiefs in the playoffs. What is that gonna be a thing? Are we gonna see?
your team might be the most hyped up team if that happens.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
my team's low key the most toxic team in the NFL right now.
No, I think, and I didn't introduce this before, but I think not the most toxic team, but
Oh, it
the
is.
most toxic couple of teams and the weirdest rivalry ever.
It
It's
is.
the Eagles
No,
49ers.
listen. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna tell you this right now. The Eagles fans and the like Cowboys fans are annoying. You don't see the mayor of San Francisco tweeting the Eagles. And you don't see a wide receiver on the 49ers saying something like Jalen who or Patrick Mahomes who. You don't see that. No,
Yeah,
we have the toxic title. Even if the Bengals fan base isn't as I'm telling you, our team has the toxic title and I love it.
I
Patrick Mahomes
I
who,
guess I
Alex?
yeah, and it's like which was the San Francisco 49ers offensive guard who was in the news? Which was it? What's the name of the dude? Let me check real quick. Yeah, but you can have that. But on the other end, this is what I have for you. I have a team that basically went head to head twice the last 2 years, both in the playoffs. No, this year it was in regular season, last season in the championship game. Last season they played. The Niners didn't have, and this is, of course, 2022 2023. The Niners didn't have Brock Purdy for most of that game, and they were playing with CMC at QB for a big chunk of it. And the
Oh
Eagles beat
yeah.
their ass. This
Yeah, they did.
year, it was the Niners just completely crapping on the Eagles. So it's 1-1. Both times it was a blowout. And now this seems to be some sort of like bad blood like rivalry to the point in which the Super Bowl ended like what 3 4 days ago, and you see news of a backup guard for the Niners, John Feliciano, basically making headlines because when he faced the Eagles and he was versus Jalen Carter, apparently John Feliciano is saying that Jalen Carter threatened to murder his wife and kids.
My God.
Like, yeah, so you have your mayor talking shit. I have Jalen Carter apparently threatening to murder people. And I have Jalen Carter saying that John Feliciano was making a mockery out of his friend that died when he was at Georgia. The guy in the car that he was being, I don't know, not accused, but he was being linked to the death because apparently it was Jalen Carter who was like drag racing versus the guy, something along those lines. So Carter says that Feliciano basically killed his friend or something like that, or was making a mockery out of the friend that died in that car accident. And Feliciano comes back and says that Jalen Carter threatened to murder his wife and kids. So yeah, this is the stupidest rivalry and most toxic rivalry that was born out of thin air. This is wild. Like if you saw these two teams, you would thought this would be like something crazy, like I don't know, the Steelers and the Ravens or something like that. But no, it is a team that plays twice the last 2 years. Both games were blowouts, not even close, and they are treating each other like they're I don't know, blood rivals or lifelong enemies. I don't know, man. This seems like the weirdest rivalry to me.
I don't know. I don't know if I call that toxic. That's more like borderline illegal. That's like sus. That's more sus than toxic.
Borderline legal, threatening to murder people.
Yep, borderline. This is the NFL after all,
America,
buddy.
baby.
This is the
America.
NFL after all. If we can't skirt some rules, then what are we doing here?
Yeah, just some random rules like killing people. Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Just rules that have been in place since the dawn of human history. That's all.
Wh- Why does that matter? Come on now.
Exactly. Let's not like pander on tradition.
Okay, but let's walk back here. And we were talking about Taylor Swift, and we were talking about all of that. But the person that played in that game was her boyfriend, Travis Kelsey. And you seem to have some thoughts on Travis Kelce in general and the whole incident that he had with Andy Reid.
I like I said, this is I looked at the stats afterwards and I was wrong. I'm gonna admit this take was wrong. Looking at the stats of the AFC Championship game versus the Super Bowl. But at the time, it looked like Travis Kelce, I believe it was either in the first quarter or the second quarter. It was the first quarter. It was the first quarter because it was one of the first two possessions or three
It
possessions.
was
Yeah.
the Pacheco. If you're talking about
The
him
Pacheco
getting mad,
Pacheco
it was the
fumbled.
Pacheco family.
Kelsey was in. It was not in. Kelsey was not in. Pacheco fumbled, and he went and yelled at Andy Reid because, as if there was something he could have done to prevent Isaiah Pacheco from fumbling.
No, not
But
just yelling. He was shaking the dude. Like, it was a violent, not push, but like a violent shake, I would say.
and it looked to me in the subsequent series after that, there was not a lot of Travis Kelsey involvement. To the point that I made note that Patrick even hit Noah Gray a few times when Travis Kelsey was either right next to him or also wide open. But that was just an observation at the time. When you look at the snap count and you look at the end result, it's an incorrect take. I'm going to say that.
But does that moment make the rounds and is on every single piece of
Well,
sports
it's the
media?
top. Listen, if the Chiefs lose that game, it's the top segment, dude.
Yeah, it's the top segment. Okay.
Difference between this being a talking point and this not being a talking point is the Chiefs winning and losing that game.
It's 15.
Yep.
So Kelsey can thank his lucky stars that he has 15. Otherwise, he would be scrutinized not only by the media, but by Taylor Swift fans. Because, dude, I've seen some takes. People are not happy from the Taylor Swift side. Those are some pesky fans.
What, that Travis Kelsey got benched?
No. Regarding the whole shove incident, now it's like, yeah, Travis Kelsey's not safe to be with Taylor Swift. Like, she's not safe around him.
Oh
It's
my!
those fans, you see?
Oh
Yeah.
my!
He has a tantrum. We need to
He
see if
has a
Taylor
temper.
is healthy, if Taylor isn't being victim of something. It's like, okay, now, you're in way too deep. My God, those are the fans that never watched a single football game and just tuned in for the Super Bowl
I'm
because
about to
Taylor
say,
Swift was in.
like
And it's like,
there has to be like a level of like insanity and anger you have to play football. I think.
yeah. It's
Like,
like people just it was not correct, and I had someone in the Discord server of our guest from last week. I had
no,
someone in there saying basically like if it
no.
was anyone else and he should have been benched and Kelsey should have been benched, otherwise Andy Reid is losing the locker room. I thought it was a very bad take, man, because your coach that is coaching in this league for what over 20 years is not gonna lose the locker room if he doesn't bench the second or third best player on the team. Maybe he loses the locker room if he benches him and the team loses, as they might have, because Kelsey ended up leading the team in receptions, in targets, in yards, all of
Yep,
that,
all
receiving
of it.
yards. Yeah.
85%
So
through the air.
maybe,
Yep, all of it.
yeah, all of it.
He only had
Maybe
80%
he
left.
would
Go on,
lose.
go on.
No, maybe he would lose the locker room there. But as it stood, I thought it was a very bad take.
It was more an in the moment thing. Like you saw them go to the replay of him shouting at Andy Reid, and then you saw multiple possessions where he wasn't targeted until that flat route. I believe, yeah, it was like the final drive. The flat route was on like the final drive of the second quarter before halftime.
Yeah.
So, but he got used a lot
And
the second half. So,
yes, exactly. And I have two more questions regarding this game. What is next for both teams? And let's talk about the losers first, I guess. what is next for the 49ers? Because next up, you're looking at Brock Purdy. That's 2 years out of his rookie deal. So now he has two more. He probably gets paid in the last year of the rookie deal, like probably before the season even starts.
And he
So you
wasn't,
effectively,
and this isn't
well,
like
go
he's a
ahead.
first round pick. There is no fifth year option for Brock Purdy.
None of it. And the impact that this has on the books is pretty big because you're passing from a 900 to $1,000 cap, $1 million cap hit to probably like year one. You're probably looking at
30,
eight
40.
to no, but like year one, because those things usually get
Oh
like
yeah,
they
they
get higher
gradually
as
get
the
bigger.
season goes
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
I guess
so
it just
you're
depends on
probably looking.
what they
It
sign
depends
him
on the
for.
deal and the
Yeah.
structure, of course, but you're probably looking at a $10 to $15 million cap hit for
It
year
really
one.
depends on what they sign. I could see as high as 20 to 25.
Yeah, that would
We'll
be on
see.
the higher end for year one, but that's
Yep.
probably right around the number for year two. So you're looking at a guy that will take a massive bump in your paybook. So what's next for the 49ers?
I
Will they be able to keep everyone? Now there's rumors that
no,
Ayuk might want out.
no, they won't be able to keep everyone. I think what's next for the 49ers is this coming season is kind of the swan song. I think this next year is probably it. Because after this year, or actually even during this year, if you want, you have to make the conscious decision to sign Brock Purdy or not. So once again, the NFL is a league of storylines. The storylines until this man is signed throughout the whole year, potentially, if he's not, is would you pay Brock Purdy? Is Brock Purdy worth the money? How much did they sign Brock Purdy for? That's the storyline in San Francisco. That is your storyline right there. So that's really the big debate. San Francisco, they can draft their players, they can sign players. It's the last year, like I said, it's the swan song, but they have to make that decision consciously now. Well, not right now, but within the next year, do they want to re-sign Brock Purdy or not?
Yeah. And to be honest, like most of their guys are still under contract right now. Like they don't have a whole lot of like free agents moving around, but they have roughly what they have right now. They have 570. No, they have 570K left in cap space. So this is with the full roster. Of course, you have moves here that you can do with like restructures of Trent Williams, Debo, all of those. You can make all of those to open up space, but you can't forget that next season you have a few more people that you need to sign, and especially it's gonna be Brock Purdy.
And
So
I
this
tend
is
to think
like
that Brandon Ayuk wanting out is actually a really good decision for Brandon Ayuk because, and you even kind of alluded to this, the offense, as far as the weapons go, you have Christian McCaffrey, but from the wide receiver standpoint, it's kind of the Debo Samuel George Kittle show. Like there isn't as much of a room for Ayuk to show he's the number one. And I think if he thinks he's a number one wide receiver in his mind, he kind of has to go somewhere else to show that he is that guy. Go to a place where he could be the number one.
uh, sort of because for this year, I think Ayuk was the best wide receiver that they had. To be honest,
100%. But here's the thing. He two things can be true at the same time. He could have been the best performing wide receiver on the San Francisco 49ers this last year, but it doesn't change the fact that Alex came onto a podcast and said the offense looks marginally worse when Debo Samuel isn't 100%.
that is true. That is
So,
true. Yeah,
not Brandon Ayuk
but I
not being 100%.
and to be honest, the rumors were started by, I believe it was a friend or his family or something like that, and it was basically like just trashing the Niners for not using him in the Super Bowl
Right.
and saying like this is why my guy needs to leave the Niners. And I think after that, he has said that he isn't planning on wanting a trade or anything, and he was pretty
All right.
emotional about the loss. So this
As you
might
should,
just be all
dude.
gospel. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of course. And
But that's kind of the thing. But that's again a decision Brandon Ayuk needs to make because Brandon Ayuk can stay in San Francisco, and that is obviously an amazing pairing. Obviously, Shanahan has amazing schemes to get him open and get him the ball. But if he thinks of himself as a number one wide receiver, then yeah, you kind of got to invest in yourself and go to a team where you can be that, where Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Debo Samuel aren't consistently over like shadowing you, and there isn't that looming over you. So it's a blessing and a
Yeah.
curse. You get less attention to you, but you also don't get the credit.
Yes, but I'm looking at their cap space right now, and I'm looking at the contracts that they have, and I'm looking at all of that. And it's like, I understand that maybe you want to be a one, but be open to the possibility that maybe you can be a one in San Francisco because Christian McCaffrey, 2025 is the last year of his deal. Debo Samuel, 2025 is the last year of his deal. George Kittle,
So when you
2025
say
is the last year of his deal.
2025, I want some clarification. Do you mean this season that's about to start or the season after
No,
that?
next one.
So the season that's
So,
about to start after next year's Super Bowl.
e- uh, yes, exactly. So
Okay.
2024, 2025 season. So this upcoming is gonna be no wait, no this one is gonna be 2024, 2025, correct?
Yes.
Then okay, so it's the next one, 2025, 2026. That's it.
Okay. That's why I wanted to be sure. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so you basically need to be a second wheel
I'm
for
gonna, I'm
what?
just gonna say this.
No,
Like basketball and football, this like doing the season late into the year and then having your season finished at the start of the next year. This shit's for the birds. Like I understand baseball is like 200 games, but their seasons start at the year and end the year, and it's a lot easier to track. Say that it's a
uh,
lot easier to track.
it is. It is. I'm actually sometimes confused about it. I'm like, oh, which year? But yeah, like if a sport like baseball can have, they have the full season in a year, right?
Yep.
As you said. So if they can have that with 200 plus games, why can't the NFL with like what 25 weeks of full of football? So
So
it's like
yeah.
I don't know. Seems weird. Seems weird, but yeah.
And I get
So
football
it's
wants to like be a winter sport, but just end in December. Just have the Super Bowl in December. So the 2024 season is the 2024 season, and the 2025 season is the 2025 season. And we're not curious when these people's contracts end. So maybe we're just idiots. But I will say I like the season is condensed in a year. I do like that nice little tidbit for baseball.
yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, it's just like maybe you can wait another year and be with the Niners and be in the system that you've been pretty good at the last past 2 years. You've been pretty good at. Maybe just do that and access after that because then it's like Debo is a guy with a very specific skill set that usually doesn't age super well. So maybe he might be out. Kittle, he has been battling a whole lot of injuries. Then it's like you can't pay all of those guys. So if you have security there, 2025, 2026, 2027, then you're in the books already when they sign Purdy, while the other guys aren't. I think there's a case here to be made that he probably shouldn't move and he should take the chance. And he already has the connection with Purdy. Just keep developing that. And I think in 2 years, you might be the number one option in that team.
I mean, that could happen.
Yeah. And you're playing in San Francisco. Great. Good weather for most of it, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's in California. They have amazing weather all year round. The only
Same.
time the only time you would have to worry about inclement weather is if you're not playing at home or the Super Bowl is in a cold weather spot, which recently I don't think it has been. I think it's been in either a dome or a warm weather state.
Yeah. Next year, it's in New Orleans, then it's California, and then it's California again.
New Orleans could get dicey, but New Orleans is in a dome. It's in a dome. So yeah,
It's in
never
a
mind.
dome, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's in Levi's, and then it's in SoFi. Yeah, Super Bowls are also great places. But yeah, I don't think there has been a Super Bowl in a cold place in a while, as you said. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's
If I had
usually the weather in
if I had to guess,
Atlanta, but that's a dome.
it was probably in New York or Boston. That was probably the last
Uh,
cold weather state. It's just,
I'm not. Does the U.S. Bank Stadium, the stadium from Minnesota, is that in a dome?
I don't.
Oh, it
That
is.
that's the
It is
Vikings.
an enclosed. It's
The
an
Vikings are in
enclosed
it.
stadium.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. Maybe Houston. No, that's usually like pretty
No,
hot.
unless you're from fucking Ohio or New York, then you have a dome if you're a cold weather area. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so the last one was the Super Bowl that the Seahawks won. That was in MetLife
That was in
Stadium.
New York. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, it has been over 10 years since a Super Bowl was held in a stadium with not great
The
weather, and
Seahawks were
I'm
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yeah,
Oh my god.
February 2nd, 2014.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah,
I'm getting old.
it feels the whole decision on the stadiums might just be a tad bias towards the the good weather and the enclosed stadiums. Just might be. And what's next for KC then?
Um, Run it back.
Super
Hopefully you
Bowls?
find some more weapons outside of Travis Kelsey to kind of mitigate some of the regular season woes, or hope someone like because Rasheed Rice did look really good throughout the season, but hope Rasheed Rice keeps improving and making further leaps. Maybe hope Sky Moore makes a leap himself, or address it via the draft again. I guess I don't know. Keep spinning that wheel until you get something good. I don't know.
Yeah, eventually they probably should. I mean, we're in an age in which like wide receivers just tend to do pretty well out of college. If your name is not Quentin Johnston.
If you're
Um,
here's a weird question. If you're Kansas City, would you be for trading like three or four future firsts, or yeah, it would be like this first or three or four future firsts to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and just saying fuck it, we're gonna go for it.
no, I'd rather grab on a chunk of money and just throw it to a guy. Keep the
Okay, that's
picks.
fair. That's fair.
Like there's plenty of like good to great wide receivers available in this free agency class. I mean, I'm looking at it, and it's Mike Evans, it's Odell Beckham, it's
Mike
Tyler
Evans would be a
Boyd.
good Patrick Mahomes target.
He would for sure. It's Tyler Boyd. It's Calvin Ridley. It's Marquise Brown. It's Noah Brown, huh? Who wins him? It's D. Higgins. It's Michael Pittman. Yeah, there's a few good names in there. Although apparently, like T. Higgins is gonna get the tag. That's been the rumors out of Cincinnati so
Kind of
far.
has to, because if he doesn't, I think that Tennessee would snatch him up, because I don't think. Spoiler alert! I think if T. Higgins was a free agent, Kansas City wouldn't get him. Tennessee would, and they'd throw whatever they need to throw.
Yeah, they would throw more money at him than they would throw balls at him. But yeah, that's true.
Some Tennessee shade, I like it.
Yeah, we're starting the year off strong. Okay, so KC runs a dynasty. So KC runs a dynasty. We go back, and it's not one, not two, but three Super Bowls? Or is it not one, not two, not three, but four Super Bowls? Where are we getting? Can they get three in a row? Because I believe no one has ever done that. Have they?
Not unless you're the Bills and you lost three in a row. I don't. That's actually a
Yeah,
good Google search. Has anyone ever won three Super Bowls?
no, they have
No,
not.
they have not.
No.
So I mean,
So teams
that would be an interesting notch on the. Wait, not even Joe
they
Montana?
No, Montana won the Super Bowl 23 and Super Bowl 24 in a row.
Okay, interesting. Well,
So
I think that would be an interesting notch on the Chiefs goat or the Patrick Mahomes goat case, but I don't. It can't happen, right? Right? Like Joe
I
Burrow's
don't
going to be
know.
back next year. The Ravens are going to be back next year. The Bills are going to be back. Like it can't happen again, right?
I mean, it's the final boss. It's the inevitable. So right now I have a tough time saying that it can't happen with Mahomes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, so there has never been three consecutive winners. There have been four consecutive losses. So Bills fan, I'm sorry.
Oh, we
Yeah,
just
I
this episode.
I do think if I had like to put money on it right now, I would put money on the Chiefs, and they are the favorite to win it. So
Should be.
I think we might see. I think that's correct. I think we might see a three-time Super.
You think we see a 3-time Super Bowl winner this year? Hello? Oh, looks like Alex is having technical difficulties.
Yeah, real difficulties. You ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is it
So
slightly
anyway,
better? I guess the
yeah, no,
sound
it's
is
it's
not
good now.
great.
So
It's
anyway,
good. Great.
yeah, it's good now. Kansas City 3 in a row is what you think?
Yeah. Right now, I think it is.
Like I said, I would like the off season to see what's going on, but yeah, Kansas City should be the favorites.
Way too
I,
early. Super Bowl.
I
What's
think
the next
I
Super
think
Bowl?
next year I think the Chargers might not hurt me anymore, so we'll see. The Jaguars, of course, will hurt me some more, so we'll see.
Okay, so way too early. Super Bowl 59 predictions. I have the Chiefs.
Way
You
too.
have. Next one is 59, right?
Oh no. Oh no. You're gonna put me on the spot. Okay.
You're on the spot. 59.
Okay.
Super Bowl 59.
If the NFL is scripted, the Buffalo Bills. Go on. Alex? Alex. Oh, yeah, technical. I'm having technical difficulties again. Ugh.
Oh, great.
Jeez.
Technical difficulties apart from today. Great.
Dear God, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to the internet. If I had to guess, I would think that someone plugged some internet from a division that is like 30 meters away with plenty of walls in between. So that's just great. Thank you to whoever did that. But who was your
So,
pick?
any thought? The Buffalo Bills.
Oh, the Bills. Oh, you're going on that bandwagon, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna let them hurt me this year.
Been there, done that, buddy. There's
Mm-hmm.
no good coming out of it. Just despair and misery.
Okay. You ready for more despair and misery?
What?
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Angelo, I'm choking. Oh my god. Okay, I think I'm good now. Damn it! When
Uh,
I hear the Cowboys, I just immediately start choking. That's weird.
yeah. Yeah.
Why do you
So
do
yeah,
that to
I
yourself?
went for batshit crazy. So we'll see how
Okay,
accurate that was.
okay. I think if we do like I was just doing Super Bowl winner. If we're going actual Super Bowl matchup, I'm gonna say it is. It is The Chiefs. I want to throw
Chiefs
a really great name out there. Let me just look at every single
versus.
NFC team. NFC
I
teams.
actually debated. Anyway,
What?
no, I'm not gonna tell you what I debated. Go
Okay.
on.
Maybe I can get there. Okay. So it is the Chiefs versus the drum rolls, please. Damn, every team in here is just so shitty. God damn it. The NFC,
That's the closest thing we got.
the Green Bay Packers.
Oh no! Don't do it.
I don't know. Alex from the past agrees. See? We'll see how those go. Yes. Right now, we have plenty to come up next. We have the combine. The combine is in what? It's end of the month, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Things
Yeah,
just
we got
fly
some.
here
So
right
the
now.
NFL season is over. We like have to think about something to talk about now. Crap. Um. So we gotta start reviewing these prospects that are coming up, Alex. What are we gonna do? There's so many prospects. How are we gonna get to them all, Alex?
We just go for the good ones. The bad ones, we won't look at them.
We won't look at any. So no bad
So we won't look
prospects.
at any running back.
Wow, shade thrown at the running backs.
You're all so shitty right now. God damn. Yeah, we need to review the positions. I opened up a few topics to Angelo, some of which he's not too happy with. I don't believe he's interested in mock drafts, but that's what make the people go. It's like you saying that a random guy that no one has
No,
ever
no, no,
heard
no,
of
no,
will
no, no,
go
no,
in
no,
the.
no, 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 no. Put my actual take out there. I am fine with mock drafts. I am not doing a mock draft. I'll let you do a mock draft and I'll review your mock draft.
But the fun of it is doing like I don't know, go back and forth on the mock draft, like
This is why
first
I'll
round.
review yours and tell you why your selections are crazy.
Yeah, so when I pick Caleb Williams at 101, it's yeah, batshit crazy pick, man. Is that what you're gonna say to me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think
Austin still
another
thinks
interesting.
Caleb's going to be a bust.
Yeah. No, because he won't play for the Cowboys.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe he has a chance at actually doing something with his career.
On the Bears, we'll see.
Yeah, just somewhere outside of Dallas.
Hmm.
Something interesting as well that I haven't passed by you, so I'm getting your authentic reaction here.
Oh no.
What do you think about doing one show, like every so often, where we rebuild a team or we solve the issues of a team? Like
We solve
what
the.
we would do as GMs.
So, are you talking about a real team?
Yeah, we just grab a team that has been shit for a while, and we are the GMs of the team.
That could be interesting. That could be an
Yeah.
interesting. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that as a special concept.
See, that's great.
That could get
Just
content out there.
see
I agree. I am for
if
the content,
if you like
for the
those
brand.
ideas, guys. Just leave those comments saying that you like them and which team you would you like to actually see. Let's do that.
Cowboys.
Because if not, we're just gonna do the Bears. I'm letting you all know it's gonna be the Bears.
Then that needs to be an iForensic episode since the dude told you that he wants to be back so bad. So come on, man.
Yeah, that
Get
could
him
be
back.
it.
Have him fantasy, rebuild the Bears. It'd be a great episode. There you go.
Well, and then he just says that he wants to keep Justin Fields, and I have to pull the plug on him.
Exactly. And you what? Pull the
And I have
plug
to
on him.
pull the plug on him.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh God. So like someone we were talking about Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So someone decided to pull Tom Brady's and Patrick Mahomes stats through their first 7 years. And so you ready for this?
go for it.
So I could tell you exactly everything Patrick Mahomes does better, but I'd be here all day. So I'm just gonna say this. The only stat that Tom Brady is better than Patrick Mahomes is none of them. Um,
It
they have the
is
same amount of games and same amount of championships, and that's it.
great. So, are you saying Mahomes is the GOAT? For the millions and millions of people listening to this.
He's on his way.
Okay. He didn't say it yet. He might one day. Stay tuned, guys. I don't think I would put him there yet. I know that he will eventually be the GOAT, but I can't be hypocritical enough to the point in which I said that we can't consider Brady better than Montana if he doesn't has the rings over Montana, and now say the opposite. So, and you apparently, from what I listened to the basketball show, you seem to be the guy that thinks that championships are everything.
Yes.
So, what changes here in football?
Nothing. I haven't said that he's the GOAT. I said he's on the way.
But you're tempted.
I mean, sure, it's tempting. Like I said, compare them side by side. Patrick Mahomes is outperforming Brady in every metric just about through their first 7 years. That's like,
That's the stats. Numbers don't lie, right?
yeah.
All right. Maybe if he wins next year, I'll be on the verge of saying that he's the GOAT.
You'll be on the verge of saying he's the GOAT.
On the verge.
Interesting.
If he wins next year, do you say he's the GOAT?
No.
Okay, so you're also on the verge, apparently.
Hmm. All right. What's next on the docket, or is that the show?
I believe that's the show, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Let me double check everything just to make
That is
sure.
fine. That is fine.
Yeah, that is correct. I had a few tweets here that I wanted to discuss, and maybe
Okay.
I can just grab in one of them. And it is the odds from the NFL draft prospects to be selected by teams. And I wanted to get your take here in some of them. So, first one, Caleb Williams. His odds to be selected by the Bears, minus 400. So that seems
Yeah.
like pretty safe, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm, you may have cut off again.
Caleb Williams, but I think it's pretty certain that he goes to the Cardinals. He is minus 200. The Patriots are plus 330. Do you agree with that?
Say you broke off there. You said Caleb Williams to the Cardinals. Go ahead.
The Bears. No. Caleb Williams to the Bears. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals is
That's
minus 200. To the Patriots is plus 330.
So what they're saying is, if he doesn't go to the Bears, he's going to the or Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to the Cardinals, and if not, then it's the Patriots. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I think it's kind of hard. So here's the dilemma that Arizona's in. I think it's kind of hard to just get off Kyler Murray, even though because you signed him for to that huge deal. Even though like you can say he's memed on, oh, he cares more about Call of Duty than football, but he still, when he was on the field, performed at a very good level. Can't be mad at the performance you got from Kyler Murray last year. So,
I agree.
are you really like itching to get rid of him? I mean, if Drake May like entices you that much, sure, but is the
And
odds Drake May better than Kyler Murray that great? I don't know.
no, and Drake May should be the number 2 pick. I would be pretty surprised if he isn't. So yeah, with the Cardinals at 3, I think Marvin is a pretty solid lock. And finally, a guy that we can discuss in another show because he's a fantasy relevant prospect that is probably getting touted as the next big guy. Brock Bowers. Which team do you think he has the best odds to go to?
Team Brock Bowers, I think, goes to.
Yeah, which
I
team has the best odds, do you think?
Hold on one second. I just want to get a list of exactly what
The
the
order
order
is.
is. Yeah. Mm,
I can give it to you. I have it open right now if you want. Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay, go for it.
I have two scenarios, but I think one's more interesting than the other. The
Okay.
Chicago Bears is one
At 9.
at 9,
Okay.
and then the other one, which I think would just be more interesting because of the storyline, is the Chargers.
Okay. So you got the first one. The the team that has the best odds. You got it right. And it is
The
the Los
Chargers.
Angeles
Yep.
Chargers. Yeah. They have plus 200, so the odds are great in terms of like a lock, basically. They are great if you want to bet on them. And then they have the second team as the Tennessee Titans.
So I looked at the Titans and I agree that they are in need of a tight end. Here's the thing. So Callahan was the offensive coordinator for the Bengals. We never really
Yes.
had a top flight tight end while he was here with Burrow. So,
Yes.
would he want the tight end? Now, granted, you could say, Brock Bowers is a generationally talented tight end, and of course, you want him on your team. But I think the way Callahan is thinking about it, maybe he's scheming more for getting like wide receivers or offensive line or the defense more together than he is getting Brock Bowers because quite honestly, I don't even know if the quarterback that Callahan wants is on the roster unless it's Will Levis. So we'll see.
Which wouldn't be great. But I agree. I think it's something that should be taken into account when you're doing this sort of predictions is what's the track record that certain coaches, especially the new coaches that haven't been head coaches before but have been OCs before, what is their track record and which player they use. And granted, you can say that maybe he didn't use the tight ends as much because he had like Chase and T. Higgins,
Hmm.
but I will put it as just like we don't know if his scheme is just like not super tight end friendly.
Right.
So you can put it both ways. I also think that the Chargers are the best slot, and then this team. I would say that this team has the second best, should have the second best odds, and it's not the Bears. The Bears are tied with the Colts and the Broncos for the fourth slot, but ahead of them, the books have the New York Jets as the
Oh
third
no.
most likely team. And I think that I just wouldn't say that this is the most likely spot because I think Brock Bowers won't be there at 10. So outside of a move up, I don't see it. That said, if they would move up to say, I don't know, like the Tennessee slot, for example, I would think that the Jets have the best odds. Because that would imply that he's there at 7 for them to make the trade. Or maybe just go up to 5, I guess. It's hard because if they are interested in Bowers, then it's tricky. But I think the Jets have a nice chance at it. And the usage of the tight end is usually it's not great by Rodgers, but it seems to be one of those things in which sometimes he just loves the tight end and it's just like his safety blanket. And he tends to bring out the best of some tight ends that I don't think were really that great. So I think if he had a truly great tight end, or at least a prospect, I guess we can't really say that he's a great player, Bowers, right now. But if he had that sort of talent, I think he would elevate that quite a bit and play with him pretty well. So yeah, Chargers are 1 for me. 2 is the Jets. But yeah, those are the odds that I thought were interesting here from the tweets that I saw. There's some like QBs, but I don't really
I think,
think we should get into this right now.
yeah. I just
Yeah,
think the Bears make sense because if they go Caleb Williams with the 1, they already have DJ Moore. Getting another weapon there is never a bad thing. So, especially
yeah, but they have
this again, maybe this is a further discussion, but you said the offensive line performed league average or better. Defense, especially in the final weeks, performed amazingly. I think the argument for Bowers in a Bears uniform is a pretty good one.
I would say so if they didn't just pay their tight
Cole
end,
Clement, yeah.
which Ahmed, yeah.
Yeah, Cole Clement.
But I guess if they see him as more of a weapon, as Kyle Pitts once was,
Hmm.
and I don't really see him
Or
in
you
that
could run
sort
two
of
tight end
mold,
sets. It just depends.
or you can run to that end sets, yeah. So we shall see. I would say the OC has some track record of heavy tight end packages, but not a great track record of really using the tight end a whole lot.
Hmm.
The guy that was with the Seahawks this past season. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting season,
Yes, for
guys.
sure.
I think that's the last part of it. The NFL season is officially over, and the NFL postseason, no, the preseason is officially open right now. I guess because we have a combine in I don't know 2 weeks. It's like end of the month, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, plenty to talk about, plenty of content to come, guys. Just stay tuned,
So this is
and
the
that's it.
Alex portion of the season. It's time for Alex to shine. He flummed the predictions all season long. He doesn't know anything about predicting football in the regular season or in the playoffs, really. He didn't get the, AFC championship, right? What a loser. And um yeah. So
Oh,
listen to Alex.
since we're talking about the predictions, and we almost forgot about this part. I tallied up the amount our record when both of us were on the same pick throughout the whole season. And I have a final tally. We went when we picked the same team or the same outcome from the game. 38 and 39.
No, we didn't. It didn't feel like that.
We did. Well, because we had a few weeks in which we really stunk it up. For example, like week 4, 5, 6, we went 1-6, 2-6, 0-3. But then we had a good start. We had a good few weeks down the end. For example, week 14 we went 4-0. No, week 13 we went 4-0. For example, week 16 we went 3-1. So we had a few good weeks in here between, and we ended up being 38, 39. So on the verge of 500.
Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It just felt bad.
It
Felt
felt
bad,
bad to me
man.
as well. It felt bad to me as well, but I mean, this is the tally that I have.
The numbers don't lie. Alex
Yeah.
just does. So there you go.
I'm hoping that this season I can duplicate or replicate what I did last season for the draft because I had a few hot takes that ended up being correct, and I had good bets. I had a few good bets on the
Oh,
draft. So I'm hoping we can replicate that this
we'll
year.
see. You're gonna have plenty of
We'll
opportunity. We
see.
got plenty of episodes to go, and I think next season we're gonna start evaluating some of these prospects based on what we've seen so far. And I think we also need to at some point review our preseason prediction. I don't like
Yes,
how the
we
season
need
went.
to pile those up. Yeah.
Yep,
All right then. Is that all from you, Angelo?
that's all for me, baby.
Well, as Angela used to say, there's a nice little fancy donate button that you can click to help us out. If you're listening on the Apple's podcasts, if you're listening on the Spotify podcasts app, not the Spotify podcast, but if you're listening to the podcast on the Spotify, you know what I mean. You can just leave us a 5-star review, you can subscribe to the podcast, turn on the auto downloads as well. That really helps us out. And if you're listening on YouTube, for whatever reason, just subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, turn on the notifications, all of those spiel, and talk to you guys next week where we finally dive in to the 2024 NFL offseason. Talk to you guys later.
See you guys.